A flower doesn't bloom by accident. It blooms when the conditions are right, planted in good soil and surrounded by the right environment. I'm talking wet, warm, and full of oxygen, activating growth. Roots take hold, a stem rises, leaves create energy, and in time, a bud opens, revealing a beautiful and vibrant flower. So, my question is, what seeds are you planting today to step into your blooming season? Welcome to Trio. My name is Wesley. This is Soul Talk, where we grow, heal, and step into our blooming season. If you're new here, we are on a journey to living in the full expression of ourselves. And today we're going to be talking about what seeds you need to plant to enter into your blooming season. I do have some notes here, so you may see me looking down a little bit. But let's just jump right in. So, according to the definition of sowing, it is to plant seeds in a place or on an object. It can also be metaphorical for putting effort into something that you desire or want to grow. Now, the first stage of blooming is the process of sowing seeds. Hence, this is why we're figuring out what seeds do we actually want to sow in order to bloom, right? And before we get to that, we need to first answer these questions to truly understand what is it that we want to sow. So the question is, what do you want to transform the most? Where do you want to grow or build discipline in your life? What's on your heart that you want to achieve? Who is the person that you want to become? If you have this nagging, or I want to call it nagging, but if it's this tugging and this pulling on your heart to do something, what is that and why is it pulling and tugging? I talked about this in a previous video that the Holy Spirit will put things on us and it won't let us leave because this is literally something that we were created to do. So, what is that? First, you want to reflect and answer these questions. Literally think about it. Who is that blooming version of you? What is that full expression of you? Who is she? What does she do? What does she do? What does she think? How does she feel? How does she walk? How does she talk? How does she look? You know? Next, we want to start by answering these questions, and then we're going to determine a plan and uncover what truly matters most and how to actually get there. So, take your time and think about those questions, and then a really a really important thing is to understand that the seed that you are sowing is an action. It isn't anything like idealistically or metaphorically, but it's literally an action. And you want to choose one thing. Now, I know you may have this. I have this I want to grow. I have this I want to be. I want to work on that. I want to change this. I want to do that. Understand, I truly understand that that is going to take place because we have so many different facets of our lives that we have goals for each and every area. But I'm telling you, we are going to start with one seed, two at max. You could have one personally and professionally, two personal, two professional, but you truly want to start with a minimum of two because your brain cannot literally comprehend all of the change that you're trying to stuff into it. Evolving and developing literally takes baby steps. And what you really want to do is get some things to become an automatic habit so then we can stack those habits and truly live into our full expression. So, some examples of seeds that you may want to sow may deal with understanding your identity in Christ a bit more. May evolve around your health or your wealth, your career, or developing some type of hobby. But first, understand what is your main one that you really want to develop and grow and sow seed into. Okay? Um, Next, I would say let everything else run in the background. This means that, for example, for me, my number one seed to sow is to produce weekly YouTube videos, because on the other side of this goal is a whole different version of me. This woman, she has different level of skills. She has a different mindset. She has a comfortability with herself, like never before. So for me, my number one goal, my number one seed that I'm planting is producing these YouTube videos. But that doesn't mean that I don't have any other goals. I do have fitness goals. I do have career goals and monetary goals, but those things are running in the background. And what I mean by that is fitness for me is automatic. I have got to go to the gym. The gym is already scheduled into my weekly routine. There's no space for me not to be at the gym, basically. And although I have these goals of like, yes, I want to bench this amount of weight, I want to eat this amount of protein, etc., these things run behind the thought of producing these YouTube videos. They're kind of like subconscious, if you will, and my conscious effort is being put into creating these videos and developing this series. So, next, we're going to talk about how to sow your seed. Okay, so the first thing to understand is that sowing seed is an endless pursuit. There's literally no limit to the number of seeds that you can sow. Let's read Ecclesiastes 11:6. Okay, it says, plant your seed in the morning and keep busy all afternoon, for you don't know if profit will come from one activity or another, or maybe both. So, to sow your seed, you got to be about that action. I heard Beyonce say that some time ago, and she's right. You have got to be about that action. So, the first thing you want to do is create a schedule for the activity that you will be doing, meaning you have got to make sure that what you are doing throughout your week revolves around your number one seed, whatever that may be. For example, when I first started working out, my goal was to get to the gym 3 times a week. Now, I created a schedule. I wasn't perfect with that schedule initially, but I had to carve out time to go to the gym 3 times a week. Create a schedule for your activity. For me right now, going to the gym, working, social interactions and gatherings that I'm doing, I have already created the space and time to make sure that I am hitting my goal of uploading weekly, meaning I have the time to write is blocked out, at the time to record is blocked out, the time to edit and design, all the things that is all blocked out. Again, create the schedule, make it plain. Do not make anything complex, which is number two. Don't make it hard for you to sow your seed. Don't make it like you have to buy something or you have to travel really far to get to wherever you need to get to sow the seed. No, it should be take a step back and simplify. It should be very simple, okay? Because what we want to do is make it easy to achieve the goal that we're trying to set. Okay, we're on level 1. If you try to start at level 10 or 2, I was about to say level 2. If you try to start at level 10 and try to start implementing this goal and this change, then it's going to be really hard. So simplify it, whatever it may be. Do not overdo it. For me personally, although I feel like I need a better microphone, or I want a new phone, a new camera, some extra lights, and all this extra stuff, no, we start with what we have. Okay, just start with what you have, start now, and start with where you are. God has given us all that we need to do everything that He has called us to do. That means there's nothing that we need added onto us to do what God has called us to do. So think about it from that perspective. Next, you want to understand that there are two ways of sowing seeds: indirectly and directly. So for the examples that I have here, this is based off of entrepreneurship and business. And this, I'm going to kind of read it, but just understand that these are examples of how to sow indirectly and directly. So for the first step, for indirectly, you want to plant seed around the place that you are desiring transformation, right? So for example, for those who want to start a business or anything like that, you should try to start giving away free game to people on social media, looking for nothing in return from any of the seeds that we are sowing. Okay, so help someone else, talk to people and help them ideate what it is that they want to do career wise. These are indirect seeds, meaning it doesn't necessarily directly sow into what you're trying to produce. Volunteer or help small businesses, support other small businesses and buy from them. Join networking groups and get out and talk to people. Talk to kids about their dreams. What do you want to do when you grow up? Like literally, just open this door to the possibility of entrepreneurship taking root into your life. Um, Give away free products and services. Do it for free, y'all. Do it for free. You'll see the return that comes back. It may not come back directly in the form that you're thinking, but it will come back. Post flyers and hand out business cards. Sewing does not directly relate to the outcome you are seeking. For example, if you're looking for clients, just having a personal conversation with a random stranger is a seed sown. If you want to be fit, motivating others to, continue upon their goals is a seed sown. Indirect seeds does not necessarily have to deal with you pursuing and pushing forward towards this transformation. Okay? But direct seeds, on the other hand, it consists of you being consistent with one thing in that area that will literally lead to some form of transformation in your life or in your business. So let's use the same example for business transformation. You can do one or two things every week, knowing that they will directly, make an impact on your business. This involves making sure you have 3 days where you're doing 20 sales call a day, right? This can be done through networking. For me personally, what it was I joined the Chamber of Commerce and I joined networking groups and I made sure that this was my job. I went to each and every networking group. Let's just say that networking group for about 6 to 12 months. I can't really remember, but I did it consistently every single month without miss, unless I went out of town or something, but without miss. And this definitely had direct results for my business. For the people that I met at these groups, they became my clients and recommended me to other people. So this can be you doing a live every week. This can be you um, just doing something that directly relates to your goal and your transformation. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. So understand that sowing seed leads to discipline, and discipline over time leads to automatic action. You don't know what seed will grow. You don't know that if you talk to that stranger that resulted in business for you. You don't know if you talk to that kid that resulted in business for you. But the reason I even come up with this idea of indirect and direct seeds is because for me, just doing the most random things opened the door that God opened for me. Meaning like I would go to these networking events and some of them didn't yield any fruit. But then I would just get a call out the blue for business. So understand that sowing seed is true. God sees your effort and He is the one who decides what grows. He is the one who rewards the most random seeds planted. So, today, for you to start sowing seed is by answering those questions, reflecting, talking to God, about what seed should you actually be sowing in order to enter into this full expression of yourself. So, next, we're going to talk about practical ways to actually stay consistent in sowing your seed. The number one thing that you actually really want to do is take control of your mind. Envision if you had a little kid, you want to be stern with yourself. You're the boss, not the body, not the procrastination, not the this is what I want to do at this moment. No, you are the boss. You have got to see yourself as like a little kid. And you know how when little kids are doing their homework and you're talking to them, you're tutoring them, and their mind just start going off into the space and just doing all little things. Well, you have to tell yourself, we're not moving from this table until you finish this homework. Meaning we're not getting on this phone until you go to the gym. We're not about to buy anything. We're not shopping unless you finish writing the book that you, whatever, the chapter for the book that you're trying to create. We're not doing that. You have got to put a stop. For me, I think I was working on creating a script for this video and my mind wanted to go and just, I had a question about something else. No, we're not going to understand the answer to that question until you finish the script. And then I think I wanted to grab my mind, be trying to go off topic all the time. Then I wanted to think shop on Walmart. I was like, no, we're not shopping on Walmart until you finish this page. You get what I'm saying? You're the boss. Okay, get the work done. Another thing is making it the win of your day. I know earlier I talked about creating a schedule and making sure you stick to that schedule, but ultimately, at the beginning, it's going to be a little bit hard. So for me, I had 3 days a week for the gym, right? And it would be smart if I had it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But at the beginning of my journey, I wasn't doing that. So it was my win of the week. So if I waited so long, I had to work out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I had to work out back to back because I could not let that week pass without me getting those 3 days in. Make the seed that we're sowing the win of the week, the win of the day. You have got to literally transform your mind to see it as the green light, as the star, the sticker, that you get for being good. This is your reward, okay? This is your win. Next, I would say reward yourself after a significant amount of time of sowing the seed. I believe when I first started exercising, I think about 2 months in, 3 months in, I decided to invest in some workout gear and I bought some nice workout clothes, 2 pairs of tennis shoes. I enjoyed that, but definitely reward yourself after a significant amount of time. And after getting all of that stuff, it made me even more motivated. That's what I'm saying. Don't buy anything at first. Matter of fact, make it your reward for doing it. You're going to feel even more motivated. Now I really want to go into the gym because I got my stuff on. I'm about to go hard. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you know what I'm saying. So to conclude, let's read 2 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 6. Remember this: a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop, but the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. This you need to write on a sticky note or some kind of card and put it in front of you every single day. Boo, you have got to plant the seeds. You have got to put into the work. You have got to put the work in to get what we want out. Okay? We have got to plant generously. Okay? Like it's the end of us. We have got to do it. So, as I told you guys, that my seed is actually creating these videos. So, you happen to be my accountability partner. Whether you're watching these in real time or later on, you'll see how consistent I was. You know, that is the goal. That is the goal. And I want to be your accountability partner as well. I am a real person on the other side of this camera. I love talking to people about their goals and about what it is they're looking to transform and seek. One thing I can't do is make you transform and make you seek better for yourself. But I would love to always encourage you and keep you on track if possible. Okay? So here we go. Comment down below and let me know what seed that you want to be planting in order to reach your blooming season. Um, and if this video resonated with you, please come along, join us on the journey, subscribe, like the video, share it with anybody that you feel it may resonate with them as well. And then lastly, I just want to say I'm going to see you next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about the environment that we should be creating for ourselves in order to, sow the seed. Again, remember that a seed blooms when it's in the right environment. So next week, we're going to be talking about that. And I'm super excited. Thank you so much if you made it through this video. Again, I love, 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 love you. And I'm so grateful that you are here. Have a wonderful day.